somehow find a way to get this game over with as quickly as possible.
The problem is, if Wallace is ejected, I'm not sure.
He's trying to get down to the bench. Artesta's in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands. The security trying to somehow restore order. Fans and players are going at it, and the players trying to help each other out.
This is a disgrace.
You're probably wondering, what does fighting have to do with fashion in sport? Well, believe it or not, this.
Artesta's in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved.
This is the origin story for how we got here. So you're probably wondering, how are the two linked? So let's get into it. On October the 17th, 2005, then Chairman David Stern made the NBA the first major sports league to enforce a dress code. The dress code required players to wear business casual attire to games and a sports coat with dress shoes if you were on the bench. During this point in time, the NBA was losing money and were trying to clean up their act after the malice at the Palace to attract corporate sponsors. Players and fans alike believed that the NBA dress code was introduced to combat the rise of hip-hop culture within the league. Former Philadelphia 76er Allen Iverson was fined a total of $87,000 for constant violations against the NBA dress code. Whether he liked it or not, the former Philadelphia 76er had started a movement by just being himself, becoming a sporting fashion icon in the process. In 2020, Iverson appeared on the All the Smoke podcast to discuss the importance of being yourself.
And then you talk about the clothes and all that. People look at your page because you a cultural icon.
Straight
the
up.
way I dress right now is because of you.
Straight up tattoos.
The tattoo, everything. So you're a cultural. So people looking, you right. People are looking at your page to follow not just of your lifestyle. Is because we love you, bro, and you gave a lot of people confidence when they didn't have confidence in themselves. You let a lot of people know that they can be themselves and still be successful.
Right.
I tell you that shit all the time. And it ain't just us, bro. It ain't just basketball players. You see what I'm saying? It's rappers. It's everybody. You gave them the confidence to be themselves in anything they can do. All of us, bro. And that's why people follow you, dog. And you got to accept that. And you know what I'm telling you? Give me your flowers because you mean a lot to us. We can't lose you. We just lost Kobe. We can't lose you. We're going to give you all the flowers in the world, bro, right now. You feel me? Right now. Straight up. And that's why we had to have you on the show, bro.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong with being you? Everybody else taken up.
Right.
Iverson was slowly becoming a thorn in the side of the NBA. However, his courtside style and demeanor created a living legend. The NBA was condemned on a national scale for blindly associating hip-hop style and culture with gangs and crime. Allen Iverson has never been in a gang, but was simply dressing like the people on his estate. In 2022, Iverson spoke to comedian Kevin Hart on his Cold as Balls podcast to talk about fashion, fines, and the NBA dress code.
You know, you do represent, when you talk about the game of basketball, significant change. I'm talking about the ankle braces. I'm talking about in college cutting the shirts off underneath the jersey. Where did that idea of rough, raw, rugged, and edge come from?
I was just being me, Kev. As far as the dress code and everything, I dressed like the guys from my neighborhood. It was just different once I got to the NBA. I could afford the stuff that we wanted growing up.
I remember when you're in the league, this is like your rookie year, Chris Rock's got the Chris Rock show. You got on the black tee, you got on some baggy jeans, you got the black do-rag, diamond chains all over, earrings big as watches, and Chris Rock's first words was, damn! He said,
"Give Puffy his jewelry back."
Yeah, oh my God, he said, "Give Puffy his jewelry back."
Yeah.
At that moment, it was an instant thing of, damn, I want to look like that. And then you took it another step further, the tattoos, the braids. Are you aware that you started that thing in the game?
I just took the whipping for it. For these guys to be themselves, to look like they want to look. You know, the only time that I ever known about wearing suits was to go to church or to go to a funeral. I never wore a suit.
Yeah, I was
to the
just saying,
basketball court. You know what I mean?
You didn't go to church that much either.
I did a little bit, but not that much. I believe in my guy, though.
Okay.
I believe in my guy. I love him. But I just felt like after the game, I'm going to Fridays, and now I'm going to the club
Oh
or
my
something
God.
like that. I mean, where am I going after the game with a suit on? It all came together
There was a
to
real
be
reason.
Allen Iverson.
There was a real reason behind it. These fines were very consistent, right? I mean, they were on your ass. They tried to make an example out of you.
The only reason I felt like the dress code came in was because once they saw that I was wearing what I wanted to wear and I was getting away with it, then other guys were like, well, if he can do it, then I can do it too. And then everybody in the league started doing it. And then that's when David Stern said no. God rest his soul, but that's when he said no.
Even to this day, the NBA dress code is still an active rule. However, due to the rise of social media, the league is a lot more lenient towards what players wear due to their global social media reach. Letting NBA players wear whatever they want is a small price to pay for the NBA to globalize their game. Outside of America, Europe is the fastest growing geographical market for the league, with a 38% rise on NBA League Pass subscriptions year on year. So it's safe to say this market employ is an effective one. Not every player in the league is a fan of the relaxed dress code, and Denver Nuggets superstar Nikola Jokic likes to keep it old school by dressing up in a suit more often than not.
We saw you coming in tonight. You were fly tonight, brother. Wait, you look good tonight walking in there. You must got big plans after the game tonight.
No, to be honest, I started doing this season. I think it's one way to represent yourself. I just don't like how the guys are dressing up for the games. I think wearing suit is it means business and means that I'm here to do my job, you know. So I think that's what to represent.
Tunnel fits have taken the NBA by storm, with many athletes these days using the tunnel as their own personal fashion runway. With the league's target audience expanding, brands now see an opportunity to pay players for placement, which means millions of people get to see their brand via social media and TV. Spanish football juggernaut Barcelona are the first European team to bring tunnel fits to the sport. The La Liga giants have regularly been documenting their tunnel fits for around 3 years across their various social media platforms, and since making the change to letting their players wear their own clothes to pre-match home games, Barcelona are averaging a major domestic trophy a season, including 1 La Liga, a Copa del Rey title, and 1 Spanish Super Cup. Posing the question, does pre-match attire affect performance? I sat down with the founder and co-owner of Classic Football Shirts, Matt, to see what he thought about the subject.
One thing that has took definitely North America by storm is the tunnel club regarding when they're walking in, seeing what everybody's wearing, what shoes they're wearing, what shirts they're wearing. And I know Barcelona have become one of the first teams in Europe to do that with some regularity. So do you think going forward that we'll see more of these kind of tunnel fits and what people are wearing and how much they're going to cost?
Yeah, maybe we'd actually, I can't tell you who, but we just had a Barcelona player purchase some stuff off the website this morning and we didn't even know that was happening. So we'll see if he wears any of them that he picked up. Yeah, it could be interesting. But yeah, definitely you can see across, like I say, in terms of it's much more ingrained within culture now. And you can see platforms like Versus that are always kind of pushing out, you know, the element of the crossover between current culture and football in like the best way possible. So I'm sure that, you know, it is a lot closer than it ever has been in that regard. So you can see that, yeah. Now as well, there is social media, which means that if players do that in the past, you'd have to rely on it going in a newspaper. And like, is a newspaper really that bothered about printing what a player's fashion is? Like, in a positive light, probably not. They'd more only cover it if it was kind of like a way to kind of get at them, which used to be kind of the culture in the 2000s and the 90s. So it's a different time compared to what there were obviously plenty of footballers that were known to be stylish. You've got like the Liverpool Spice Boys from 95, 96 that obviously did that and still memorable. But yeah, it definitely seems to be coming more into it.
During his time at the club, ex-Manchester United legend Sir Alex Ferguson always made sure his players dressed in suits when preparing for a match. As the times have changed, so has the fashion, and track suits have become more predominant for pre-match attire. Current manager Erik ten Hag had a huge decision to make when he opted to wear tracksuits for Manchester United's League Cup win against Newcastle, however opting for Paul Smith suits for their FA Cup final defeat against local rivals Manchester City. Yet again posing the question, does pre-match attire affect performance?
I want to show you a photograph which might give you a thought about some of these issues as well. Let's have a quick look, see if you remember this photo. Remember
God
those?
almighty. Why did they do that?
When was that?
That was the 96 Cup final at Wembley. I said to Brian Kidd, 1-0.
Those aren't your players, of course, those are Liverpool.
Yeah, it's Liverpool, yeah.
You turned to Brian Kidd, your assistant.
1-0.
1-0.
Well,
just because of this?
Yeah, because of that. I think that's, I don't know, what would you call it? Arrogance or overconfidence or, I don't know, it was ridiculous. I think it was absolutely ridiculous. Blue shirt, red and white tie and a white suit and a blue flower. Who designed that? And they say it was a Manny.
Yeah.
I bet your sales went down.
I'm still working out what it was. Was it because they're not taking the game seriously?
Well, I mean, Jimmy Redknapp's like sunglasses on. But you know, the most telling part of it is this. Roy Evans and Ron Moran had black suits on. I think they were embarrassed. Liverpool Football Club is a great club of history. They've won the European Cup more times than Manchester United. Between Manchester United and Liverpool, they've won more trophies than any club in Britain. That didn't represent Liverpool.
Turn to something we saw that was absolutely extraordinary yesterday. Mass protests by pro athletes taking a major stance demanding justice over the police shooting of Jacob Blake. The Milwaukee Bucks sparked a basketball boycott and a chain reaction throughout the sports world. This morning, the NBA postseason in doubt following the police-involved shooting of Jacob Blake. An all-players meeting was held to discuss whether the NBA bubble season should move forward at all. LeBron James reportedly walked out of that meeting after voting to stop the season. He sent out this tweet, "We demand change. Sick of it." This comes after the Milwaukee Bucks announced they would not play their playoff game.
When we take the court and represent Milwaukee and Wisconsin, we are expected to play at a high level, give maximum effort, and hold each other accountable. We are demanding the same from lawmakers and law enforcement.
The Milwaukee Bucks took a brave first step by boycotting their Game 5 playoff game, and with the messages loud and proud on their t-shirts, actions spoke louder than words. Following this stand by the Bucks, 2 more innocent black people were killed by the names of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, sparking an outrage in the community. The players had had enough.
A lot of people kind of use this analogy talking about Black Lives Matter as a movement. It's not a movement. When you black, it's not a movement. It's a lifestyle.
The league promised to say her name, to say their names.
I want her family to know, and I want the state of Kentucky to know that we feel for it and we want justice.
I have pretty much every possible name of someone that's died from police brutality, police violence, and on the back too.
Not enough was being done by law enforcement, and with all the players being cooped up at Disneyland in the NBA bubble, tensions were running high. Something had to give, and it was finally time for change. NBA players of all ages and races joined everybody on the front line to protest the murder of George Floyd. Powerful images of these athletes wearing I Can't Breathe and Black Lives Matter t-shirts really shows how fashion can impact social justice in a positive way.
Say